Okay, we've given folks time to click in. Good afternoon. I'm Edward Torello. I'm a mentor with Bucks County SCORE, and I'm also in charge of the webinar program. Before we begin with a very interesting presentation by the Internal Revenue Service, is your business eligible for the work opportunity credit? I'm just going to take a minute to give you our commercial on SCORE. SCORE, as you know, is a national organization with 350 chapters and about 13,000 members. Bucks County has approximately 60 mentors in our program, and they come from all walks of life. And our mission is very simple. It's to help small business to either start one, to grow one, or to thrive. And we do this through our free mentoring services. And if you're interested, all you have to do is go on our website, which we will put in the chat, which is buckscounty.score.org, and push on the button that says, I need a mentor, and we will take it from there. Just so you know, we are recording this session, so you don't have to take copious notes, as everything will be sent to you right after the presentation, and you will also get a copy of the slides. Okay, with that being said, we're now going to move forward with our presentation. We're very fortunate today to have Leslie Chambers, who's a senior stakeholder liaison with the Internal Revenue Service. She represents the IRS at educational and taxpayer outreach events, working with tax professionals, industry associations, and business owners. She's been employed with the IRS since 1988, so she's had really varied experience and I feel can handle just about any question. She's had 8 years as an examiner, 8 years as a collections contact rep, 3 years as a quality analyst, 12 years as a practitioner priority service supervisor, and in the last year, she's in the communications and liaison area. Leslie has a bachelor's degree from Temple with a major in accounting, and she has an MBA from Rosemont College. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Leslie so that she can begin. Leslie?
Thank you, Ed. Good morning. My name is Leslie Chambers, and I'm a stakeholder liaison working for the Internal Revenue Service out of the Philadelphia office. Stakeholder liaison establishes and manages relationships with partners that serve small businesses and multilingual, rural, underrepresented communities to promote a two-way dialogue in helping taxpayers understand and meet their tax responsibilities. Stakeholder liaison also establishes relationships with tax professionals and payroll organizations and industry organizations, and we provide information about policy, practices, and procedures the IRS uses to ensure compliance with the tax laws. And we also elevate issues from our stakeholders that affect tax administration. And the IRS is committed to establishing a more customer-focused structure to better meet the needs of American taxpayers. Stakeholder liaison has been instrumental in designing, developing, and delivering educational products and services focused on taxpayer needs. And we do this with the assistance of our partners like SCORE, who help us identify the needs of the local community and help us share our messages. Today, I'll discuss the Dirty Dozen tax scams for 2022, the work opportunity tax credit, communicating with the IRS in other languages, and payment options. Before I discuss the work opportunity credit eligibility, I want to give some information on what the IRS calls the Dirty Dozen tax scams. So 1 to 4 of this dozen are potentially abusive arrangements. They're charitable remainder annuity trusts, Maltese individual retirement arrangements, foreign captive insurance, and monetized installment sales. The IRS reminds taxpayers to watch out for and avoid advertised schemes, many of which are now promoted online, that promise tax savings that are too good to be true and will likely cause taxpayers to legally compromise themselves. So you should be especially vigilant and watch out for all sorts of scams, from simple emails and calls to highly questionable but enticing online advertisements. Taxpayers are legally responsible for what's on their return, and not a promoter making promises and charging high fees. 5 and 6 are economic impact payment and tax refund schemes. The IRS reminds taxpayers that criminals still use COVID-19 pandemic to steal people's money and identity with phishing emails, social media posts, phone calls, text messages. All these efforts can lead to sensitive personal information being stolen, and scammers using this to try filing a fraudulent tax return, as well as harming victims in other ways, just like they would on tax refund scams, where they do the same thing and try to get people's refund before they get it. The next one is unemployment fraud leading to inaccurate 1099-Gs. That, because of the pandemic, many taxpayers lost their jobs and received unemployment compensation from their state. However, scammers also took advantage of the pandemic by filing fraudulent claims for unemployment compensation, using the stolen personal identification and information of individuals who had not filed claims. Payments made on these fraudulent claims went to the identity thieves. So taxpayers should be on the lookout for Form 1099-G reporting unemployment compensation that they didn't get. For people in this situation, if you get a 1099-G, try to get a corrected one from the state. If a corrected form cannot be obtained, so that you can file your return or file an extension for your return now, taxpayers should complete their return claiming only the unemployment compensation and other income that they actually received. And if you need more information about this, you can go to IRS.gov, and the Department of Labor also has a fraud site for state-by-state reporting information about this type of scam. Another scam is fake employment offers posted on social media, and there are many reports of fake job postings on social media. The pandemic created many newly unemployed people eager to get a new job. These fake posts lure their victims or entice them to provide their personal financial information. And this creates an added risk for people, because this information in turn can be used to file a fraudulent return, for a fraudulent refund, or used in some other criminal, in some other criminal endeavor. Another scam is the fake charities that steal your money. Bogus charities are always a problem. They tend to be a bigger threat when there's a crisis like a pandemic. Taxpayers who give money or goods to a charity may be able to claim a deduction on their federal tax return, but you have to donate it to a qualified charity to get the deduction. So you can check the status of the charity that you're thinking about donating to. The IRS has a tool. It's called the IRS Tax Exempt Organization Search Tool on IRS.gov. So anyway, here are some tips. You should never let a caller pressure you into donating to a charity. A legitimate charity will be happy to get a donation at any time, so there's no rush. Donors are encouraged to take time to do the research. Potential donors should ask the fundraiser for the charity's exact name, web address, mailing address, so it can be confirmed. And some dishonest telemarketers use names of organizations that sound like large, well-known charities to confuse people. So definitely do your homework before donating your money or your goods or whatever to a fake charity. It's scammers also want you to pay people to pay by giving them a gift card or by wiring money. That's how scammers ask people to pay the charity. It's a scam. It's the safest way is to pay by credit card or a check. And only after you've researched the charity. For more information about that, you can go to the Federal Trade Commission's website, FTC. Number 10, I'm sure people have heard about on commercials, the offer and compromise mills. They make outlandish claims, usually in local advertising, regarding how they can settle a person's tax debt for pennies on the dollar. The reality is the taxpayer pays the offer and compromise mill a fee to get the same deal that they could get on their own without using the mill. And they usually charge an astronomical fee to get you to file this offer and compromise thinking that you're going to get it. And not only that, they sometimes get people to file an offer and compromise and of course pay them, knowing full well that they're not going to be accepted because the IRS has standards that you have to meet in order to get an offer and compromise. So definitely be aware that these mills may be a little too good to be true for some taxpayers. Number 11 is a suspicious communications. We all get the trick emails where they try to surprise or scare someone into responding before they think. The Internal Revenue Service is warning everyone to be on the lookout for bogus emails, texts, posts online that are trying to gain your trust or steal your identification. Don't give them any personal identification or financial information. And the final one of the dirty dozen tax scams is spear phishing. It's a serious problem because it can be tailored to attack and steal the computer system credentials of any small business with a client database. Don't let your IT defenses down. Spear phishing is an email scam. It tries to steal client data and then tax preparers' identities in an attempt to file fraudulent tax returns for refunds. Spear phishing can be tailored to attack any type of business or organization. So definitely be aware of these types of things. I want to talk quickly about identity theft. It's a serious threat to businesses, partnerships, estates, and trusts. These may steal sensitive information to file a fraudulent tax return or a refund, as I've said. All taxpayers have to be alert and on guard at all times. It's important to take strong security measures to protect your business and your employees' data. So know the signs of identity theft. Be alert for possible business identity theft. If for some reason you can't e-file your return because the system is saying that one's already been filed under your EIN or SSN, or you get a rejection notice for a routine extension to file because the return has already been filed. You receive an unexpected transcript or an IRS notice that doesn't match anything you've submitted. Or you receive from the IRS a letter 6042C or 5263C, which we send out in certain instances. Or if you don't receive some routine correspondence from the IRS because the business address has been changed by the identity thieves. So take the basic steps, protect your laptops, your routers, your tablets, your phones. Teach your employees to do the same and protect your business. Make sure you have firewalls to protect your network. Password protection and protection on your wireless devices, a password manager, multi-factor authentication if you can get it, when it's available. Encrypt sensitive files and emails with strong password protection. Back up your sensitive data to a secure external source that's not connected to your network. Destroy old computer hard drives and printers that contain sensitive data. Limit access to personal data. Limit access to personal data only to individuals who need to know it. And make sure that you enter personal data only on secure sites with web addresses that begin with HTTPS, and provide your employees this same type of information. If you get a suspicious email, if the email is IRS related, forward it to phishing@irs.gov, phishing@irs.gov, and never open or download attachments. Because people send you things and put a title that's making you want to click on it. But verify the email is authentic whenever you can. Never open or download attachments from unknown senders, even potential clients. They'll send you a thing saying they want to, be one of your clients or something, and it's a scam. I mean, it's a way for them to steal your identity. Verify the email by calling them on the telephone. So anyway, so I mentioned the letter 6042C. We send these letters if we identify a business related return that is potentially fraudulent. We issued a letter to the taxpayer seeking additional information before we process the return. The 6042C and the 5263C are asking you to validate either your return or the entity. Please respond immediately to this IRS correspondence, because we've identified something that is maybe not the way that it should be. So you can also find prior information on the IRS Dirty Dozen and other information on identity thieves on irs.gov. There's a lot of information, so please go on and look and stay vigilant and protect your business. So the work opportunity tax credit. Employers should know about this hiring incentive. The work opportunity tax credit is a federal tax credit available to employers for hiring individuals from certain targeted groups who have, consistently face significant barriers to employment. Employers around the country are creating new jobs and seeking workers to fill vacant roles. This presents a great opportunity for employers to commit to inclusive hiring practices and connect job seekers with good, stable jobs. So if you're looking for the right talent, have you considered the largely untapped potential of these workers who have historically faced barriers to employment? And did you know there are tax credits for hiring them? Through the Work Opportunity Tax Credit, or WOTC, employers who hire eligible job seekers in these targeted groups, such as qualified veterans, can earn tax credits ranging from $2,400 to $9,600. Benefits of the hiring business, benefits to the hiring business include the fact that you get to make the final decision on who you're going to hire. There's minimal paperwork to complete, and it's fairly simple process. And the employer can hire as many qualified candidates as the business needs and claim a credit for each one that fits the criteria for the work opportunity tax credit. There are numerous qualified groups of candidates to hire from. The credit amounts are significant. For-profit employers can reduce their federal income tax liability, and nonprofit employers can reduce their Social Security tax. So the Work Opportunity Tax Credit is a general business credit. It's available for wages paid to certain individuals who begin work on or before December 31st, 2025. It was extended until then. So you can hire anybody up to December 31st, 2025 and receive this credit, tax credit. It can be claimed by any employer that hires and pays wages to certain individuals who are certified by a designated local agency, like the state of Pennsylvania, for example, has an area that certifies that these people meet the criteria and that you can claim them for a tax benefit. There are 10 targeted groups, basically. In general, the Work Opportunity Credit is equal to 40% of up to 6,000 wages paid to or incurred on behalf of an individual who is in their first year of employment, certified as being a member of a targeted group, and performs at least 400 hours of service for that employer. So the maximum credit is generally $2,400. So that's 40% of the $6,000 of wages. A 25% rate applies to wages for individuals who perform fewer than 400 hours, but at least 120 hours. That way you'd get 25% of the $6,000 or $1,500. Up to $24,000 in wages may be taken into account in determining the Work Opportunity Tax Credit for certain qualified veterans. So the 24,000 times 40% equals $9,600 that you can get if you hire certain veterans. An employer cannot claim the WOTC for employees who are rehired. So it has to be a brand new to your business employee. In general, taxable employers may carry the current year's unused Work Opportunity Tax Credit back 1 year and then forward 20 years. So say you hire an employee and you do your tax and you find out that you don't owe any money. You can take it back to the previous year or forward for 20 years. So what you do now can affect your business even in future years and help out a person that needs a job. So let's talk about the targeted groups. And they're outlined here on the next slides. So employers can hire eligible employees from the following targeted groups for WOTC. Temporary assistance for needy family recipients. And that's an individual who's a member of a family receiving assistance from the state relating to temporary assistance for needy families, TANF, they call it. The assistance must be received for any 9-month period during the 18-month period ending on the hire date. So you take the hire date, go back 18 months. If they received it any time during any 9 months during that time, that makes them an eligible WOTC recipient. Qualified veteran. A qualified veteran actually has a few different categories, I guess you could say. If they're a member of a family receiving SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, for at least 3 months out of the last 15 months, they're qualified. If they're unemployed for a period totaling at least 4 weeks, but less than 6 months. So 1 month, but less, at least 1 month, but less than 6 months. And the weeks do not have to be consecutive. They can be, but they don't have to be. But less than 6 months in the 1 year period ending on the hire date. So they had to be unemployed for at least 4 weeks, but less than 6 months. The next category is unemployed for a period totaling at least 6 months. So they had to be unemployed for 6 full months, whether or not consecutive, in the 1 year period ending on the hire date. A disabled veteran entitled to compensation for a service-connected disability hired not more than 1 year after being discharged. So it has to be within the 1 year of them being discharged or released from active duty. That's a whole separate category. And the final veteran category is a disabled veteran entitled to compensation for a service-connected disability who's unemployed for a period totaling at least 6 months in the 1 year period ending on the hire date. So any of those 5 things could make a veteran eligible, well, actually make your business eligible to claim the WOTC for that veteran. The next category is for ex-felons, formerly incarcerated individuals. A qualified ex-felon is a person hired within 1 year of being convicted of a felony or being released from prison from a felony. The designated community residents, or DCR, these are people that live in the empowerment zone or rural community. They're a person who's at least 18, but under 40, so 18 to 39, basically. And they reside in either an empowerment zone or a renewal community, enterprise community, and they continue to live there at that location, once they're employed. They're going to stay there. And there are some of these areas in and around Philadelphia and Camden. You would have to contact the state to find out exactly where they are. They have like a zip code lookup that will tell you where the particular areas are that make a person eligible for this WOTC. And the final one, the vocational rehabilitation referral, that's for a person who has a physical or mental disability and has been referred to the employer while receiving or upon completion of rehabilitative services based on a state plan approved under the Rehabilitation Act, or an employment network plan, or a ticket to work program, or a program carried out under the Department of Veterans Affairs. So those are the first 5 of those categories. The next category is summer youth employee. This is a person living in an empowerment zone, the zones that I've previously discussed. They're at least 16, but under 18, so 16 and 17, on the date of hire or on May 1st, whichever is later. And they're only employed from May 1st to September 15th. So for that 2 months, 3 months, May, June, 4 months, they're employed, and then they go back to school, and that's it. And they reside in one of these enterprise empowerment zones or rural renewal community. SNAP recipients are eligible if it's a person who on the date of hire is at least 18 years old, but under 40, and a member of a family that has received SNAP benefits for the previous 6 months, or at least 3 of the 5 previous months. So if you find someone who's getting SNAP, they may be eligible for the work opportunity tax credit for your business. SSI, the supplemental security income. If an individual received SSI benefits within 60 days of the date you hire them, you can get the tax credit for them. Long-term family assistance recipient, that's a person whose family has been needing assistance longer term. And they're a member of the family. They received the assistance for 18 months and they received assistance, and it has not been more than 2 years since the end of the 18 months that they received this long-term assistance. Or they ceased to be eligible for the assistance because the federal or state law limited them from continuing to receive the assistance. And it hasn't been 2 years since they stopped receiving it. And finally, a qualified long-term unemployment recipient is a person who's been unemployed for at least 27 weeks. So that's anybody who's been unemployed for at least 27 consecutive weeks. Let me make that plain. This one has to be consecutive. At the time you hire them, if they've been unemployed for 27 consecutive weeks at the time of the hiring and received unemployment compensation during some or all of the unemployment period. So as long as they got some unemployment, even if they've been, they've used up all of their eligibility, they still qualify you for the work opportunity tax credit. So before claiming the credit, this is what you need to do. All employers must obtain certification that an individual is a member of the target group before you can claim it on your form. This certification is going to come from the state, and this is the state in which your business is. It doesn't matter what state the person lives in. You're going to get the certification for the state where the business is located. And you do this by filing form 8850. It's a pre-screening notice, and you file that with the state, and you're requesting certification for this person for the work opportunity credit. You send it to the state within 28 days of you hiring them. So make sure you get it done right away. You can do it as part of their filling out their pre-employment papers or however you want to do it. Employers should contact their individual state workforce agency with any specific processing questions for the 8850. Some states, I don't know if Pennsylvania is one of them, some states will let you do it all online. So I would definitely check if you're interested. State agencies and partnering agencies can help you connect with these skilled workers who may be in the targeted group for the work opportunity tax credit. So a participating agency would be like a federal, state, county, or local government agency, or something like that, like job centers, vocational rehab agencies, city and county social services, Department of Corrections, the VA, and veterans related organizations, or some kind of workforce innovation opportunity groups. They can help you find people who may already be certified. By the way, there's a way for these people to certify before you even meet them. They can get a certificate saying, I'm eligible, hire me, please, basically. So this is the form 8850, the pre-screening form, and there are also instructions on the form, and it's not that hard. The person fills it out, and in there, number 2, ask the person to check the box if any of the WOTC requirements apply to them. And they just check the box, fill out the rest, and you send this to the state. Limitations on the credit. The credit is limited to the amount of business income, tax liability, or Social Security tax owed. So say you have a $2,400 credit, but your taxes, like I said, is zero or less than $2,400, you're not going to get a refund. It can be carried back or forward, but it's limited to that amount. And like I said, that a taxable business may apply it forward or back, carry it back. And for a tax exempt organization, the credit is limited to the amount of the Social Security tax owed on wages paid to all the employees for the period the credit is claimed. So for taxable employers, you're going to claim the credit. You're going to get the certification back from the state. You file it with your tax return. There's a form 5884, a form 3800, which is for just general business. Most businesses use form 3800. You put the amount from the 5884 that you're certain that the person worked, the 2,400 on the form 3800, and file it with your 1040 or your 1041, 1120, whatever your income tax return is. And that's how you claim the credit. For tax exempt employers, they're going to claim it through the Social Security tax liability. And the IRS is recommending that qualified tax exempt employers do not reduce their required deposits in anticipation of any credit. Just go ahead and make the deposits and you'll get your credit. Tax exempt employers file a form 5884C. And this is work opportunity credit for qualified tax exempt organizations hiring qualified veterans. So it's a different form for the tax exempt employers. And this is the form 5884, and it has instructions, and it's fairly a fairly simple calculation to come up with the credit you're going to claim. And then, like I said, you're going to take the amount from this form 5884, put it on the form 3800, and file it with your taxes. And this is the form 3800 that most people are familiar with if they filed a business return. But this is the form where you're going to claim your general business credits with your tax return. The IRS also has a short YouTube video on our IRS video channel that's called the Work Opportunity Tax Credit Benefits for Employers. So you could take a look at that if you wanted to see, what the video is going to, what information the video is going to give you about the WOTC. So anyway, consider the benefits of the Work Opportunity Tax Credit for your business. You get to make the final hiring decision on candidates presented. There's minimal paperwork to complete for claiming the credit, and it's a fairly simple process. You can hire as many qualified candidates as your business needs. There are numerous qualified groups of candidates to hire, including veterans. The credit amounts are significant. Both for-profit and nonprofit employers are eligible for WOTC. And the difference comes down to how the credits are applied. All categories of workers are available to private sector employees, a regular business. Tax exempt employers can access the program if they hire veterans, and they can use the credit against their Social Security tax. And by the way, the veterans credits are some of the higher value credits. So it's a great opportunity for both types of business, for-profit and nonprofit, because the veterans category can be worth up to 4 times what the regular qualifier may get, depending on how much money you pay them, of course, over the course of the year that you're hiring them. So this is going to give an immediate tax benefit to businesses that hire veterans and others that are eligible. So if you're interested in taking advantage of the WOTC for your new hires, connect with a qualified job applicant, fill out the certification, receive the certification from the state, and claim the credit. Don't let your competitors utilize the WOTC and gain a competitive advantage because you didn't. Millions of dollars are left on the table each year because employers, especially new businesses, don't realize it's available and use it. Because businesses not using this program are missing out on some incredible value. Not only is it a business opportunity in your bottom line, but it's a way to make a difference in people's lives who really need a job. Now, so did you know the IRS has information in multiple languages? And right now we have people coming from Ukraine and Afghanistan who may be still ready to, continue their business here in the United States. Plus, there are so many other languages spoken in the United States now that the IRS is trying to connect with these people. I guess I could say, first, I want to let you know that we don't have any agreements with any other organizations. All your information is confidential. So you don't have to worry about us divulging any of your tax or tax return information to any other organizations. So many taxpayers, including businesses, are having challenges that they're facing because of their taxes. They're trying to get information and assistance, and they are not comfortable interacting in English and are often underserved when agencies reach out to them. So improving service to all our taxpayers is important to us, and we're rapidly expanding our multilingual initiatives. One of the most important ways is by being able to communicate with them in these other languages. And we have a long history of providing major communication products in Spanish, on the web, social media, and all of that. But we're moving into several other languages. I shouldn't even say several, many hundreds of other languages in different ways. So we have certain high volume web pages translated into Spanish, Chinese, both simplified and traditional, Korean, Russian, Vietnamese, and Haitian Creole. You can also access other languages from our homepage at www.irs.gov. On the top ribbon to the right, click on the arrow next to the word English to display all the available languages as shown on this slide, and the red arrow is pointing to it. Then select the language of your choice. We have interpreter services. An interpreter is available over the phone. They call it OPI for taxpayers that speak other languages. They have interpretation services for 350 different languages. If you can't find your answers to your tax questions on irs.gov, we can offer you help in more than 350 languages with the support of professional interpreters. So for assistance in English and Spanish, of course, you call the 800-829-1040 number. If you need help in other languages, you're going to call the 833-553-9895, and they can get an interpreter on the phone, where the interpreter will be the middle person in between you and the IRS. So they're going to interpret for you, the business owner, and for the IRS back and forth to make sure that everyone understands what their responsibilities are. You can go to a walk-in office, the taxpayer assistance centers, and if you need an interpreter there, you can get an interpreter. They'll put you on the phone right there across the desk from the assister, and both of you will have a phone where they will have an interpreter in between, so that everything that you're saying they can interpret, and everything that the IRS employee is discussing about taxes, you can hear in your language. So if you need help, schedule an appointment at a tax assistance center. So you have to schedule an appointment, give it a call. Like I said, with more than 350 different languages spoken in the United States, we know we can do more. We want to do more. To reach out to broader audiences, we developed a new languages page on irs.gov. It has basic tax information in 21 different languages, as shown here on this slide, because we know it can be difficult when information is written in, in English that's not your first language, in a language that's not your first, your first language. So log on, go to the languages page and see the great information that's there for people in other languages. The IRS has social media. We have Facebook in English and Spanish. We have YouTube in English and American Sign Language. And you can also get video tips in Spanish and Chinese in our multilingual channel on YouTube. Twitter. The IRS tweets a lot of information. We have a lot of information about tax scams, tax alerts. We share these updates in English and Spanish. You can receive all kinds of information that's important for individuals and for businesses. We have an Instagram account, and it helps people navigate tax law and, of course, scam information. Of course, we have a lot of that. And to help people combat identity theft as well. We have a LinkedIn page. They post agency updates, tax information, job announcements, all of that on LinkedIn. And IRS To Go is an app that goes on your mobile phone where you can, get helpful tips, check your tax refund status, make a payment, and it's in English and Spanish, and it's on Android and iOS mobile devices. When you go to IRS video page, you can search by topical headings. There's a lot of videos on here. If you want just like a few minutes of something and at least get your feet wet with it, you can go in there and check. We have multilingual videos, identity theft, work opportunity tax credit, all kind of little videos that you may be interested in, and you can share a link to it if you want, or share it by streaming it on your web page. Just a few clicks and you're sharing important messages with your clients or your community or your employees, something that can be a benefit to everyone. Now, this is for small businesses. The IRS has a small business self-employed tax center. There's a wealth of information on here for small businesses. Practically anything you could want to know. The tax center helps taxpayers that are starting a business, operating a business, or closing a business. You can go here to apply for an employer identification number. An EIN is one of the first things business owners usually think about when it comes to taxes. There's so much information on the small business self-employed tax center. So to avoid any trouble, you don't need to be a tax expert for this, but you do need some tax basics. So this is a way to educate yourself. They have these tax centers have information on business structure. Do you want to be a sole proprietor or a corporation, or different record keeping information, independent contractor versus employee, the gig economy, which people call the sharing economy or the gig economy. If you're dealing with Uber or Lyft or DoorDash or one of those, or if you rent out one of the rooms in your house, like on what's it called? can't think of it now. You know what I mean? Where you can rent a room or rent your house, a vacation home out, and you get money, and it's, you know, usually done through an app. Most of these are on some kind of digital application. There's also online learning. They have a video portal, a small business events, where you can go on there and find out small business events that are going on around you. You can subscribe to e-news, which I'll talk to you about in a second. There's webinars for small businesses, all kind of information that a small business can find. So, you know, I shouldn't say this. When you have some free time, when you have time, give it a look, and you'd be surprised what's on there that can help you and benefit your business. So this is the e-news for small business page. You subscribe to this. It's a free electronic mail service. They send you information every so often in an email, important upcoming tax dates for small business self-employed customers, reminders and tips to assist small businesses with tax compliance, news releases, special announcements. Now, when you subscribe, you'll receive a confirmation message by email. Remember to respond to the confirmation email message to verify your subscription. Also on IRS.gov, there's a small business tax workshop that has lessons on different things. There's 8 different lessons. You can do them in any order. You click on it. If you want to know something about using business use of your home, lesson 4 is perfect for you. You can listen to it whenever you feel like it, you know, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, these lessons are closed captioned, and so transcripts are available in 7 languages: English, Spanish, Chinese, Korean, Russian, Vietnamese, and Haitian Creole. But the audio is only in English. So you're going to get the audio in English, but you will be able to use the closed captioning and transcripts in the other languages. But this is a really good resource for a new business. I went the wrong way, sorry. So anyway, try this out. It's a convenient feature, and like I said, you can do it whenever you have time to work on it. Now, I wanted to talk about Eftps. That's a payment system. It's really the easiest way to pay all of your federal taxes. You have to sign up for it, though. You can't wait till like the last day and say, oh, I need to make a payment. I would say at least 2 weeks ahead of any payment that you have to go on there. It has security on it, really secure way of making your payments. You can schedule payments on here up to 365 days in advance, so you don't have to worry about it. You can make the payment from your home or office any 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can pay your income tax, your employment tax, your estimated tax, your excise federal tax payments. And you can easily change or cancel scheduled payments. You had a payment scheduled and you want to change it, you can change it. You can track your payments with email notifications and view 15 months of payment history, all in Eftps. So you just log on to Eftps. And there's also a way that you can make payments through a voice response system. They have an 800 number. I would go onto the page and get it. You can make your payments all on voice, if you wanted to do that, and you can interchange. You can go back and forth between online and making phone calls. But it's really a convenient thing, and you get an immediate acknowledgement of your payment regardless of which way you go, voice or online. So you can go to the Eftps from the landing page on irs.gov, or just go to irs.gov/Eftps. Like I said, you'll receive your confirmation by email. They'll verify your bank account. that'll be used. You can change your bank account if you want to change it. You're going to self-select your PIN when you create your account, and you can terminate your enrollment if you're no longer using it. You can always terminate it. Now, using EFTPS, if you're a business has to make their payment. Say it's due on the 15th, you have to make your payment by 8 p.m. Eastern time, the day before the due date. So if it's due on September 15th, you have to make the payment by September 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern time to be received timely by the IRS. And you can use either, like I said, either one of the systems. Now, if you pay through a third party, which is available, of course, they may have earlier cutoff times and may charge fees for that, but you can very easily do this all yourself. So EFTPS is a two-step process. You enroll, you select business or individual. You put in your employee, your tax identification number, either your EIN or your social security number, your contact information, address, banks, and all of that, and click submit. In 5 to 7 days, you're going to receive a PIN in the mail. So if you have to make EFTPS payments, you have to plan. Like I said, you have to do it ahead of time. Okay. So step 2, now you've done that. Step 2, once you receive your PIN in the mail, you go to EFTPS and you click login, click on need a password, you enter your EIN and the PIN number you received in the mail, verify your banking information, select next, and create your new internet password. So just remember, this this is tied to your tax identification number. So if you want to do individual and business taxes, both, you need to set up 2 separate accounts, one for each tax number. And then if you want to make a payment, you just go on EFTPS, select make a payment, you log in, put in your number, PIN, and password, and set the payment information. And that's really an easy way. Once you've got it set up, you're good. And like I said, remember, you can check 15 months of your payment history either online or on the phone by calling the toll-free number. Scheduled payments can also be changed and canceled up to 2 business days in advance of the scheduled payment date. Now, I want to point out that the links to the payment options are available on irs.gov. Just click on the pay tab on the top of most pages on irs.gov to go to irs.gov/pay. And there are also videos on that, of course. Federal tax deposits have to be made using the EFTPS system. Other taxes can be paid on EFTPS as well, and you can use a check or money order. We're gonna take your check if you want to pay it that way. Make sure to make them out to the U.S. Treasury and mail to the appropriate address. Don't make them out to the IRS. U.S. Treasury. So in summary, now you can see that there's benefits to staying connected with the IRS. Access the latest IRS news, tips, resources, irs.gov, or go get e-subscriptions. You can engage with us in many languages and avoid a penalty by filing and paying your tax by the due date. Even if you can't pay your taxes, what you owe, pay what you can, but file your taxes on time, because if you owe taxes, don't just say, well, I can't pay, so I'm not going to do anything. File anyway. That way you won't get failure to file. You're going to get failure to pay, but you won't get both of them, failure to file and failure to pay. So just make sure you go ahead and file your taxes. And, you can always apply for a payment plan. If you're a business and you use, oh, I owe $700, I can't pay it right now. Set up a payment plan or something to pay the balance over time. And they do charge a fee. It's not a great big fee, but they do charge a fee. And it depends on whether you do it online yourself or if you call and have to have an assister do it. The fees are slightly different, but you're saving the money by actually filing. So go ahead and file, and then we can get together some arrangements to get you paid up. And I just wanted to show this. This is some of the many resources that are available to small business. I know small businesses sometimes get overwhelmed. They know their business, what their actual business is, but taxes can be like a foreign language. There's a lot of plain language information that you can get some resources for small businesses. Finally, I want you to keep the work opportunity tax credit and the targeted groups in mind when your business is planning to hire. These people really need a job, and you're going to be saving some money, and you'll be thanking yourself later on. Even if you don't thank yourself right now, you'll be thanking yourself later on for hiring people that needed a job, and you need the tax credit to keep your business afloat, especially at the beginning on a new business.
All right. Well, thank you, Leslie. Very, very informative, needless to say.
Thank you.
However, a couple of questions. One of them is, how do they research a charity to see if it's legit or not, based on, some of the things that you've told us about these scams?
IRS.gov has a link in there where you can go in and type in scam charities, I believe. When you go on IRS.gov, there's a search tool up at the top, and you type in different things, and it will bring you to maybe too many things, but it will allow you to find the information. But a charity has to be listed as a viable charity, and there you can find the information for these charities. In fact, I'll find the link and send it to you, and you can send it to the people.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yes. If you would send it to us, then Charlie will take care of that.
Okay.
Suppose we screwed up and actually gave these people our information, these scams. I guess it's quite a hassle to, what do you do? I mean, notify the police, call the IRS that these people have my number and they're going to try and apply for a refund they're not entitled to. I mean, is there some kind of steps they can go through?
Yes. Well, it depends. Have they filed the return? Do they know that these people are?
Well, not yet.
Scammer?
It's
No.
assuming
Okay.
somebody called you and you stupidly told them all kinds of things. And now all of a sudden you heard
You
your
realize.
webinar, for example, and said, holy shit, what am I going to do? So,
Well, well, you can get a PIN from the Internal Revenue Service that will, when you file, you have to give the PIN.
Okay. Okay.
So that if that person files a tax return come January or whenever it is, they're going to try to file before you. The IRS will know that you should have put the PIN in, and they're not going to give them your refund.
Right. So,
but I definitely would check other agencies, like maybe the police or something. Make sure your credit, check the credit bureaus and all of that, just in case.
Here's another question that's interesting. Are religious groups or ethnic groups, are they groups that you would consider eligible to hire to get those tax credits, or what?
Are you talking about tax exempt, like a church?
or a religious group, like let's say a Jewish group or a Muslim group or something like that. I think that's too wide a net, but I
I
was
think
just curious.
any business organization can claim the work opportunity credit. It just depends. If they're a tax exempt, then they're going to claim it on their Social Security tax. If they're a for-profit business, then they're going to claim it against their, their regular tax. Yeah.
All right. So if I understood what you said correctly, I could hire as many people who qualify in this program as I need. There's no cap on that.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
So if you hire 10 people, depending on who they are, you can get $24,000 off on your taxes.
Now, is that a 1 year only thing, or is it every year that I have them employed?
No, it's just a 1 year. Well, there is one group, I believe, the long-term unemployed, you can get a second year of credit for them, but everyone else is just the 1 year, and then hopefully by then you'll know this person is a
good
employee. Yeah.
Okay, well, that seems fair. All right. I assume that the government has ample funds to handle if all of a sudden a drove of people came on. So this program is fully funded, so to speak?
Yes, it actually has been going on since the late 70s in different iterations of the work opportunities tax credit. But this latest one was just extended, I don't know, maybe last year or the year before during the pandemic, sometime. They extended it to 2025, and they've been extending it for a number of years. In fact, some of the Congress people, people in Congress would like to make it a permanent thing because, of course, it's going to save the government money if they don't have to give out benefits to people who were able to secure, a regular job. They're earning their own way.
They're paying taxes, and they're paying taxes.
Right, and they're paying taxes, right.
Yeah, which is a lost art with a lot of people.
Yes.
I'm sure you know that. Okay, so I know that a lot of veterans have been hired under this program, and I assume that continues. Some of the companies I've dealt with when I was working hired a lot of veterans under this program. I guess that's probably the biggest group that gets hired. Is that true? Or you don't know?
It probably should be, but I think I read somewhere that the designated community residents is actually the biggest pool of, because there's so many, because there's like a couple of counties. I do know in Pennsylvania, there are a couple of counties where basically if you're in there and you're 18 to 39, you're in. And if they hire you, and there are a lot of them in Pennsylvania. I didn't see any in New Jersey. I actually looked. There may be some, but I didn't see any because I know some people here may hire somebody, in New Jersey or Delaware or somewhere. I didn't see any in New Jersey at all that said that they had a county or an area. But I'm not talking about the low income, because the Camden, Philadelphia area does have it. I'm talking about the rural counties. In Pennsylvania, they are fairly far away from here, more in the northwestern.
Actually, I think in the middle of the state. I went to college in State College, Penn State and State College. That was the only thing in the middle of the state. That was right. And some cattle that strayed on the highway. All right. Okay. I think we've covered pretty much. Wait, let me double check. Yes. Hold on 1 second. I don't want to miss it. Okay. Here's an interesting question. While registering my nonprofit organization, because inadvertently I put it as a corporation. Also, I changed the name and purpose of the organization in the meantime. How do I get this EIN issue sorted out? I requested that the same EIN be used for the nonprofit.
How did they request it? Did it say?
No, it
They-
doesn't say. I just read you
They
exactly what
sent something in line? Okay, there is a toll-free number for EINs. I don't know for sure how they go back and forth between a for-profit and a nonprofit. I
Right.
can find out and I will get the information to you.
Okay.
But I know that there's an 800 number for
The EIN question.
EINs and yeah, for EIN questions. And I'll find out whatever information I can for EIN.
Yeah, the person
And it
said
was-
it was hard to get a hold of them. They sent me another answer.
It is.
But if you, yeah,
Yeah.
try getting a hold of your organization. Well, when they put this 80,000 more people on, we'll be able to answer the phone, I'm sure.
Tell that person to send it. There's my contact information on the
Right,
screen.
yeah.
Tell them to send me an email.
And you'll send it back, yeah.
Yes, I will send them
Also,
the information.
if you'd send that information to Charlie, he'll
Okay.
also put it in the,
Okay.
in our, oh, she said, thank you. Good.
Okay.
Then this way we'll give it to everyone in case someone else has a similar
Right.
problem.
They might
All
have
right.
the same thing.
Well, I think we're right at our appointed time. And thank you so much for taking time from your schedule to help us. We'll be
Thank
looking
you.
forward to hearing from you again next year.
Okay. Thank
Because
you.
next year's coming up pretty soon. On
Yes.
some of the more exciting tax topics that everybody seems to have questions about.
Right,
So
right.
Thank you again. And thank all of you for listening in. As you know, we've got September coming up and it's a little bit of a lighter month. We've got careers in franchising. Is that right for you? We have two experts who have worked in the field for quite a few years. And we also have at the end of the month, what is your stick? Personal branding online and offline. I think that should be very interesting also. So with that, we'll say thank you again to Leslie and that's it for today. And thank you again. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.